Another technique is called the M plus S, mid-side, and it takes two microphones. And here's the example here. If you have an ensemble, you have one microphone here that's omnidirectional, and then you've got one microphone in the same position. So you've got two microphones in the same position. One's bidirectional. So you get a left and a right, and you get a center with the omnidirectional. That's the typical way that it's done. If I was going to use an M plus S or mid-side technique, I'd use a figure 8 and a cardioid microphone instead of an omni. So I only get the front because I really don't want to get the audience with the guy coughing in the background and all that kind of stuff, sneezing and making noises that I don't want if I'm going to just record the ensemble. This technique seems like it should work very well to capture a nice stereo image. The problem is that the left and the right have no control over because it's a figure 8 microphone. So if you've got one of the bass singers singing really loud, you can't turn down the right side of your image versus your left side. And so you're kind of stuck with the way it is. Whereas in XY, you can adjust left to right in terms of levels. You can have a little more control, a little more balance. But it is also a phase-consistent stereo image with the mid-side technique because both microphones are in the same physical location. Here's the Decca tree that I was telling you about. It's a very interesting technique. It's a combination of split pair and 3 microphones in a triangle, and I'm sure some amazing acoustician physicist decided this is the best way to do it. But then I could be speaking out of ignorance because I don't make a career out of recording huge symphonies. Some people do, and I'm sure that they have their techniques. This is one of them. Couple rules. Okay, when miking 2 different instruments of similar loudness with 2 microphones, this is the 3-to-1 rule. Here's a better example of how it looks. If you have standard distances D for each microphone from the sound source, and they're split apart by 3 of those distances, it doesn't mean you're not going to get phasing, because you will. But the 3-to-1 rule is a rule that engineers use quite a bit because it still phases, but it sort of minimizes the bad qualities of the phasing. Choosing microphones is generally very subjective. Frequency response is very important. Condenser mics definitely are more sensitive than dynamic microphones. As I said, you have to be concerned with the volume of the sound you're trying to capture. We talked about stereo miking techniques. Now let's talk about mono miking techniques with one microphone. There's actually 4 different techniques that you can utilize to get the sound that you're looking for. Mono miking techniques. Close miking. Let's draw an example. Okay, so here's our speaker again. Close miking is close to the speaker, obviously. Second one is far or distant. Third position would be ambient, where you've got a room mic sitting in the room picking up the speaker, definitely way far away, mostly picking up how the room is reacting to the sound, not necessarily the sound itself. In this situation, you're far enough away from the cabinet where you do primarily pick up the speaker, but it still has a little more breath to it because it's picking up a little bit of the room. The close miking technique really only captures the sound source you're generating at the speaker. And the 4th type is an accent type of miking technique, which would be, this is maybe a cabinet with a tweeter as well in it for, say, a keyboard, putting an accent mic on it so that you can pick up a special part of the sound. A better example of these has to do with miking a drum kit. Let me show you how I'd mic a drum kit using stereo and mono techniques. Well, let's suggest that this is the kick drum, snare drum, ride cymbal, floor tom, rack tom. Close miking. One on the snare drum, one on the hi-hat, but pointing away from the other drums so that you don't pick up everybody else. You just want that cymbal, the hi-hat cymbal. Kick drum miking, which is a little more extensive than just putting a mic in front of the front head. That would be close miking. Toms would be close miking. So we've mic'd up things close, but what do we do with the overall cymbals and all that stuff? Well, overhead, you've got yourself some big mic stands, so you can do a left-right kind of a situation, right? So you're picking up the left side of the kit, the right side of the kit. So you've got mono techniques and stereo techniques working together. Now on the ride cymbal, I may actually put a specific microphone just for the ride cymbal because it's an accent that's important to me. It's important because a drum groove is primarily kick, snare, and hi-hat. That's the feel of it. For you people that aren't drummers, should I explain more clearly? If you've got one bar and you've got a rhythm, the 1, 2, 3, and 4, break it into 4 pieces. The kick's usually generally on the 4 beat, which is 1 and 3. Backbeat is 2 and 4. Right? It's a boom, ka, boom, ka. The hi-hat is all the in-between stuff. So if the hi-hat's doing ta 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 ta, and it swings like ta 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 ta, or it's straight ta 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 ta, it creates the feel with the same kick and snare in the same positions. Drummers generally go from the hi-hat to the ride cymbal, and the ride cymbal performs the same function, where the ride cymbal is a larger version, so to speak, for lack of a better way of expressing it. So from the verse on the hi-hat to the chorus on the ride cymbal. So that's why I think that the ride cymbal is so critical to specially mic, just like I specially mic the hi-hat, because it's very, very important in the feel of the drum kit and the performance. Kick, snare, hat, and ride. So most people just put the ride cymbal in the overheads and leave it. But if my drummer hits the ride softly or loudly, I want to be able to either bring it up or bring it down to make the feel better with the rest of the kit. Because the way a drum kit works, obviously, we know enough about sound to know that when the drummer hits the head with a stick, he departs energy from his arm through the stick to the head. From the head, the energy departs to the shell, and it makes it resonate. If it's tuned properly, it'll resonate with a tone. Let's talk about a tom. So here's your cylindrical tom, and let's call it wood, and you've got the head stretched across on both sides. And if it's tuned properly in terms of the right tensions, the energy starts a sound wave that resonates back and forth inside the shell and resonates the shell itself to have a tone. If you don't have heads on it and you just have the shell and you hold it up and hit it with a rubber mallet, it'll have a tone on its own. And that's the innate tone of the drum. The size of the hoop and the mass of the hoop and all that determines what pitch it actually is supposed to be. But when it's tuned properly, it resonates best at that frequency. So you depart energy, you resonate the wooden shell. And so how do we capture this? How do you want to capture this with a microphone is the big question. Do we mic the side because the shell is resonating? Then you miss when the guy hits the head with a stick, you miss all of the attack and all you get is the resonation. You know, the woof of the drum. What I tend to do is I tend to put my microphone in on an angle, pointed towards the center of the drum, and about an inch and a half away from the rim, and the microphone about an inch to an inch and a half into the drum, over the rim. That way, if there's a cardioid microphone, I pick up the shell, I pick up the head, I can get the attack. Most of mic placement is putting it in a place where you get the entire sound balanced, because in different areas you're going to get different qualities, just like an acoustic guitar. If anybody ever plays an acoustic guitar and you're standing there, try this. Put your ear real close to the body, then move your ear to where the hole is, then move your head to where the fingers are playing the fretboard, and you'll see the total difference in sound that the acoustic guitar is generating. And so when you mic an acoustic guitar, the object is to capture the good qualities and get it in balance. Some people use stereo mics. I don't like that at all on an acoustic guitar or on a drum. If this was a snare drum, some people mic the underside to get the snares that resonate. I hate that because when you have a mic this direction and a mic this direction, they're 180 degrees out of phase by definition. And so you're creating phase problem. The point is if I put the mic here and I tune it properly, if I want more snare sound in the snare, I'm not getting enough rattle of the snares, I can loosen the snares. So when this head vibrates, it vibrates more and lasts longer. If I want it to have less snare, I can tighten the snares so that when the head vibrates, it snaps right in place and doesn't rattle as long. It's like a tambourine. If you hold it like this on its edge and you tap it, gravity is going to stop it from ringing. But if you hold it like this, where it's straight up and down, and you tap it, they're going to rattle on forever. because gravity's not stopping it. It's how you position what you do and how you tune your drum. That's what makes the drum sound right. And it always helps to have a good musician playing it too. Because if they hit it real hard, or they hit it real soft, or they're inconsistent, all of that matters to how the sound gets generated, and all we're trying to do is capture the sound. And so if I can get the right sound with one microphone, I'm going to do that. This is my rule. If you can use less microphones and get what you need, that's what you do, because the sound will be better. I guarantee it.